Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it.
Welcome into a special episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. We're pleased to be joined today by Houston Dynamo defender Erik Sviatchenko. Erik, how's it going?
Hi guys, thank you for having me. Yes, going okay. Still looking our wounds from the game, but what a way to bounce back is to have a game at home in an open cup that we have a very good memory about. It's some years ago now, but it's definitely still an incredible achievement.
Yeah, I know we got to talk to you after the game there in Colorado. Tough loss for you guys. And you talked about, the mentality. And that's the good thing about football, right? You get to come right back and do it again. And you guys have a midweek game. What's the kind of mood been like for you guys in the locker room and in training this week?
No, it's definitely been some looking ourselves in the mirror, and it's not to paint a picture that is all dark and rainful in that sense, but of course there is a sense of urgency and the sense of understanding that yes, the season is long, but the longer it takes to get these wins, the further away it gets that feeling, and you want to get that feeling of being a winning team. I miss that feeling. It's not been that long, but 3 games now. When you haven't been celebrating, then of course you have to dig a little bit deeper. And we have a great squad, and we have a deep squad too. So we will have to show that we can show up and everyone can perform and help out when we have a lot of games coming up right now.
Yeah, I know you guys probably obviously look back at this past game in Colorado, and as Dustyn mentioned, you kind of have to be a goldfish and quickly shift gears. But, looking back at that game, Erik, what went wrong defensively? And I don't mean it as like the defensive core, but just as a whole, what in your perspective, because statistically, it was really close of a match, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I rewatched the game right after actually, and it was a different feeling you had when you watched the game after, and then you played the game, because we felt like we were just behind in lots of moments, but we also had some huge opportunities that would have changed the game. Like we score after 3 minutes, it's 1-0. It's a different game, you know. But that's the luxury of watching a game afterwards, and going through it. But yeah, we had prepared some things tactically that then they changed in the game, and what we struggle sometimes is that how can we change again? You know, how can we use 5 minutes to get the set right and then attack from there? But ironically and annoying enough, we looked at Dallas and Colorado in minute 14, minute 14, 2-0 down away. And that's of course not a game plan that you want to keep showing up with, that you concede after 6 minutes and after 14 minutes. Then the game model changes, because you're suddenly behind with 2 goals and you have to go and fight for it. So definitely defensively, there were some moments that should have been improved. But again, like, we're just not five in the back. We're not just three in the front. It's a full team collective. And some of our moments weren't there. We should have maybe accepted that, okay, we go down 2-0 after 14 minutes. Okay, it's a long game. They have a really good momentum. They're good on the ball today, on the day. What can we 5-4-1, and let's see what they're gonna do. Are they gonna cross the balls? Okay, we'll be there ready for it. Are we gonna expose on big distances? Probably not. So there were some moments that we could have changed in the game, and we gotta be better and learn as players, and that's what we're trying. But yeah, it's annoying to concede that many goals, but unexpected goals throughout the season. We've still had a really good low expectancy goal against us, but these 2 games, of course, Dallas and Colorado, it takes those numbers to a different level.
Yeah, and I know, Erik, you guys have changed things a little tactically this year, and defensively, you guys back three, back five, and a lot of that is you guys haven't been able to play with each other, right? If Felipe was hurt at the beginning of the year,
Mm.
you and Antonio had suspensions. Guys, Lucas has been hurt. How are you guys learning this new system? How do you feel like you guys are coming along, and especially, after these last results, how do you feel like you're getting on with that new back
Yeah.
defensive system?
No, but if you go through the preseason, we started pretty early on with this system. So I would say have we been through maybe a 15 game period now, and especially the first couple of, let's say, 10 games, it was me, it was Antonio, it was Lucas, and it looked really comfortable. We were really good low defensive expectancy against us, and even though we conceded some goals, we haven't had any clean sheets. We were still difficult to create chances against, and we then had those points in the beginning that then led to a little bit of change. Lucas was hurt, which was a big blow for us, and then Felipe came in and did really well. Then I was out for suspension, but we're still learning it. But we're also at a place where we need to feel comfortable with it. It's not something that we don't know. I think all of us has played in a three-back line. We know what to do. So how can we make those small changes that matters? Like the first 5 minutes of a game are critical to anything. So first 5 minutes we cannot concede. Like all the runs needs to matter. Then right after you've conceded, the team that has scored is obviously going to go for it. How can we be extra solid for the next 5 minutes to avoid any kind of press on us and concede a goal? So there's some mentality stuff that we need to be better in conceding these early goals, that I see that as long as the game goes on, it will be a different game. But 2-0 down changes a lot of the momentum and defensive strategy sometimes.
And you touched on it already, Erik, but kind of going through a tough stretch right now, with three straight losses, and it the game or the season is so early on that, as you mentioned, you can't let it escape, right? Those points may be important later on
Yeah.
towards the end of the season, but what conversations are happening internally? So things that you can share, obviously, about leadership or the leadership group within the team.
No, we are talking about, like Ben said it rightfully after the game. Like there's nothing, and I agree. There's nothing worse than being like the talented team that everyone is talking about. Oh, they have so much talent, and but we're not winning games, and we're not like gritty enough, and we're not focused on these games where, okay, if it's a 0-0 game, we're just gonna dial it in, and then we're gonna play 0-0. That's what I'm hoping that we can get to in hopefully already tomorrow, and then on Saturday on away game. But some of the games we've had at home has pretty good. It's like take that out of the equation, those two, Dallas and Colorado, which we cannot take out of the equation. But let's think about it, and we have looked in and said, like, all the small details has to matter. Those moments where you think that you can rest, no, run those extra 2 yards and then rest in the right position. Move your body vertically so you're ready if a long ball comes. So we're not surprised by those elements that can decide games. It's very easy football when you are concentrated and you think about first 15 minutes. Okay, look on the clock. Okay, next 15 minutes. Look on the clock. Last 15 minutes. Halftime. It's very simple when we do it that. So can we simplify those emotions? Then we can get better. But it needs one brain. And unfortunately, Colorado was a little bit scattered all over. We wanted something and then we didn't succeed. And we got to be able to look each other in the eyes also when the game goes on. And 1-0 down, okay, we're not going to let them score another goal. Get your shit together, basically, and don't let them score again. And we still evolving in that sense. But there's definitely enough in this group to expect things from us, and that's why we also put the responsibility on our shoulders to say that this is not good enough, and we want to do much better, and we will. But right now, it's a sense of urgency on the short term that how can we change this around, and it comes from solid performances. Maybe thinking how can we be the best defensive team out there right now, and if that means we're playing to a 0 and the game is going to go on, we have individual qualities that can go the other way. So knowing that as well.
Yeah, Erik, we look ahead now. You mentioned the Open Cup where you guys had a lot of success. You won cups in Denmark, you won at Celtic, you won here with the Dynamo. What and Ben talked about this. You guys were off. You had off week, and then the wind international break, and different. Now that you have this, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, how important is that for you guys? This kind of rhythm, right, of playing in these league matches and then these cup matches that have so much importance as well.
No, it's important to get into the rhythm. It has been an annoying rhythm because you go out there and you train things, and suddenly there's a long stretch where it's only training. And yes, we can build on things, but you want to go out and then test it out in a game where there's 3 points on the line. So yeah, it's going to be a hectic program right now, and we're going to need all the players. And luckily enough for us, we have fit players and players that can go in and perform, and also make the competition even stronger for everyone. So the stretch we are going into now it's critical. It's important for us, and when we're on the other side of it, hopefully we can talk again, and we can say that we came over that hump we have had here in the beginning, and we are in a kind of a momentum going upwards instead of stagnating and going a little bit towards another way.
Yeah, you look at this El Paso team that you guys are playing. They're unbeaten in 2026. Really good team. They just came off a 4-0 win away from home this weekend. You look at a team like that, what do you see from them that makes them a really tough opponent, a tricky opponent for you guys?
Yeah, but first and foremost, a great opponent we're gonna face. I've played these games multiple times, and a team from the league below is it doesn't really matter when it's a cup game. It could be a team that plays in the MLS in that sense. They're coming here and away from home and has everything to win. And we are the favorites, big favorites at home. So there's a different dynamic that we need to match. So the intensity, the level of enthusiasm, we need a match because our quality is undeniable, better than El Paso's. But on the day, that can be neutralized if energy is not matched by players from us. And yes, El Paso is a team we've played several teams in the preseason over the course of the years. In the Open Cup as well, we had a not so good memory from last year. So we know that this is a key game, and it's also a momentum booster for us if we go and get a solid performance first and foremost, but of course also advance because it's 5 games and then you're there, you know.
Yeah, it's funny, you talk about this type of matchups and you guys are expected to win, no matter how good the USL Championship side looks. But, what makes it so difficult, going into this match, maybe going a little deeper to something that you already comment, but, knowing that at the end of the day, an El Paso team that has nothing really to lose going against you guys in the higher quality top tier team.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But it's also the like we have of course looked through videos and we have analyzed them, but to the extent that we can, like we don't know all the players, and you can go on Transfermarkt and you can go on different things. Okay, they had a career. Oh, this guy he played at Utrecht, that he played in MLS, the striker. Okay, he's a good player and respectfully so. Like, but I think the most important in these games is the beginning of the game. How can you take control of a game and don't let them have a feeling that there's something to come after? If you can manage that, then you set up for 90 minutes of success. But on the other way, if the start is a bit more shaky and you don't get into the duels and they start feeling that, oh, there's something for us here today, then you know that it's going to be a tough game, and the quality adds on to that element that they are coming here and they want to show up, and then they're overperforming almost. But we can also do the same if we have the right mentality, and that's what we need to show up tomorrow with.
Yeah, Eric, we got to talk to Ben earlier, and he, talked about he's had a lot of success in the Open Cup and how you guys, as the Dynamo, have a lot of respect for the Open Cup. You have this game midweek amidst, what you guys are going through in the league. Does a competition like the Open Cup, you're playing a team that's not an MLS team, but does this give you guys a chance to reset, get momentum back, feel, get back to winning ways and feel that, like you talked about, celebrating after games and just feeling good again about you guys and your performances?
Yeah, definitely. Every game that we have is an opportunity to regain momentum. And a season is like you can go through the last whatever 3.5 seasons, and you could pinpoint maybe maximum 5, 6 games that where you would say there's been a perfect game from Dynamo. There will always be momentum. You will have 15 minutes of incredible football, then you have 10 minutes of less in the game, then you go for a stretch again of 10 minutes where you are securing the ball. So it's always up and down momentum. And when do you gain that momentum, and when can you then put an extra kind of wheel on that so it runs even faster? And that's where we want to be. We want to feel that energy. You want to go in the locker room and feel like we are very difficult to beat, and that's what tomorrow is all about. That we create this winning ways, and we have a mantra like saying that we need to find ways to win. And tomorrow is finding a way to win, no matter the way that we are in, which is serious but not overly serious. We accept it, but now there's a chance to bounce back.
And mentioning, multiple games this week, obviously, you guys probably haven't even taken too much time to see what's ahead in the weekend, but you will be taking on a familiar face and Griffin Dorsey, your roomie. But, what's it like, going against maybe former teammates if you've done in the past, but what are you looking forward in this matchup in Orlando?
Yeah, like I watched their last game, and even though they have struggled in the beginning of the season, they have so much quality like around their players. So again, this league is just really good, and it doesn't always reflect the results. Game by game can be such a different level. So yeah, their front is incredible. They just got Pontus Jansson back, who's a key figure for them as well. Griff has done really well on the right side, so it's gonna be fun to play against him, and respectfully so. He's been doing amazing in the MLS for us in the past many years, and has emerged as one of the best right backs in the league. So we'll assess and we'll analyze when Friday comes and Thursday comes. But yeah, they're coming really fast, the games, and it's always nice.
He's Houston Dynamo defender Erik Sviatchenko. Erik, you looking at it big picture now as we kind of zoom out. How close do you guys feel like you are to getting this turned back around? You talked about it, getting that momentum. You guys have so much talent, Mati and Guilherme and all these guys up front, your midfield, you guys in the back. You guys feel like it's something that's, it's right there. You guys are close to getting this right.
Yes, I do. I do. But I think it's also like what comes first, like right now we're in a sense of like we can score goals, but we also conceding a little bit too many goals. So I think from from my perspective, I would say like defender with a big D, with a capital D, as I say, like how can we all think like that what comes first if we as a team collectively are very difficult to break down and very difficult to create chances against, we will have a chance in the game. So I think the faster we figure that out, the better we will be on the short term, and on the long run, we have that talent as we talked about. But talent is useless if you don't know how to get the right thing out of everyone.
Yeah, and not necessarily trying to harper once more on that tough loss over the weekend, but going back to the words you gave after, you mentioned about, taking such tough loss, like hurt your soul. So I'm sure there's fans out there that felt a similar way without even having to play, just because of, the emotions that they may feel being connected to the club. But what would you say to Dynamo fans right now going through this tough stretch with you guys as well?
No, I think I think being with Dynamo and being in the MLS, it's not unheard to be in a situation like we are. We don't need to look at other clubs, but we can mention 5 other clubs that are in the same stretch as we are, and it happens all the time. We'd love to be in a different situation with 3 wins. Yes, we would love that, but football is up and down, and world is upside down all the time. We cannot always control the outcome, but we can control what we put into it, and what we put into it is enough. And right now we just got to figure those small key points out that makes those winnable. It's not winnable when you concede after 15 minutes 2-0. So that's up to us. But on the other hand, Dynamo Stadium, we know that the electrifying stadium it can be when people show up. And as we need to show up, everyone needs to show up. We're in the same boat. We all want the same. We all want to be the best we can. So it's not the time now to say, nah, we're not interested in that. Right now is the time where you can actually go somewhere together and say, do we have what it takes to go that way, or do we just want to say, nah, we're fine to just be average? No one wants to be average. So that's the same I'm saying as always, like, let's not be average. Let's do something and create this amazing environment that is a tough place to go to. And that's our stadium when we are there, everyone.
Yep, it's Houston Dynamo, El Paso Locomotive, US Open Cup, Shell Energy Stadium. Get your tickets, head out there. He's Houston Dynamo defender Erik Sviatchenko. Erik, we always appreciate getting to talk to you. Always enjoy the conversation. Best of luck to you guys tomorrow and this weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, guys. Always thank you.